Hello and welcome to the preview show from RamsTV. It's the final night of football before Christmas for Derby County this evening. The Rams hosting Lincoln City here at Pride Park Stadium, where a win will take them third in the League One table. The Rams are on a bit of a roll at the moment, even with that draw with Wycombe on Saturday. The Derby have won 7 of their last 10 games in all competitions, including 5 wins from 6 League One fixtures. Their only defeat came at home to Crewe in that FA Cup first round replay. It's a run of form that has carried Derby into the playoff places and could take them even higher tonight. Derby will play 4 games over the next 12 days, starting with Lincoln here this evening. Captain Conor Hourihane says this is the busiest time of the year.
Yeah, it's probably up there, I suppose. We always go through stages with a lot of games in a short space of time, but probably over this kind of period now, it probably cranks it up even more. So the lads, have to be ready for it. Taper down training maybe a little bit on certain days to accommodate the games, but it's an exciting period as well, because if you get some results, you can really fly up that table even more. So it's an important time for us, definitely.
And it's an exciting time and a busy time for everyone off the pitches as well. You're a veteran, of course, so I guess you've learned how to handle the demands of the season by now. Yeah, well used to it by now. It's a busy time for players and families and all the rest of it. You try and find a bit of a balance where you're getting some family time, which is really important. And then, obviously, a huge amount of time in and around the training ground and with the lads. Over the period, if you get some good results, that makes the period a lot more enjoyable. That's just the obvious thing. And hopefully that can be the case against Lincoln coming up, really, and get the Christmas period off to a good start. And I guess they're all used to it as well, but the family are all very understanding about your availability or maybe lack of?
Yeah, lack of. No, it's part and parcel of the job now, Kids obviously are all excited, and you want to spend some time with them, and we will get that time for sure. But there's a lot of business to take care of as well, and we need to be ready for that. And the more points, obviously, over Christmas we can take, the more we can kind of put pressure on people around us heading into January as well, and into the second half of the season.
You're a couple of games short of the halfway mark. I think the Oxford game will see you reach it. So what's the captain's assessment of the first half of the season?
I think we've done okay. I think we started off slowly for sure. Couldn't find our rhythm. Was very inconsistent. We'd win an important game and maybe then get a draw or a loss straight after it, when we couldn't find that kind of rhythm, that back to back, to really gain momentum and put pressure on people above us. I think we found that a little bit more over the last month. The obvious thing is that when you get good results, obviously, it becomes easier and you gain that momentum. And I think we've done that over the last month or so. Definitely disappointing the other night not to hold on, even though it was a poor game. I thought we were at our not at our best, let's say, over the last kind of 6-7 games. But we still should have won it the way the game went. But ultimately, we got a point and we got to move on from that. So I think we're finding our feet a little bit now. The performances are coming better. We're becoming stronger, I feel, as a team as well, and as a group. Strangely enough, we're probably at our strongest when we've had loads of injuries out, so which is a strange kind of thing. But I think we're in a good place, and hopefully, like you said, the turn of the year over the Oxford game is halfway. We can really move into the second half of the season in a good place, because I feel like we're getting there.
You mentioned the injured players. I just wanted to ask, from your role as captain, what you do to stay in touch with them and keep them involved, because there have been a few injuries this year.
Yeah. There's been a lot. It's been a tough time for a lot of lads. It's not easy when there's long-term injuries, and even lads getting niggles and then coming back and getting maybe a niggle again. I think it's important for me just to speak to them, text them, see if they're okay. Always checking how they are, how their scans have gone. Just making them feel part of it. Just from my point of view, other lads are a bit different, but I think from a captain's point of view, you need to make sure that they're all okay. Dropping them texts on maybe a random day that they don't expect to get a text. Speaking to them in the training ground if you catch them at the coffee machine, or going to see them in the physio room and just seeing how they are. So I think it's important that they still feel part of it. I think that's really important for my type of role.
That's Derby captain Conor Hourihane. You'll hear from boss Paul Warne shortly as well. And remember, you can watch tonight's game on RamsTV worldwide, including in the UK. So get your Game Pass now at dcfc.co.uk. While Derby are in a playoff spot, Lincoln are chasing one. That's despite a host of injuries up front and a change of manager not too long ago. Yeah, Mark Kennedy was sacked back in October with the club 16th in the League One table. He was replaced a full month later by the former Leeds under-21 boss, Michael Skubala, whose side are unbeaten in the league since he arrived. That run includes Saturday's 1-1 draw at Reading. Well, Mark Hone played for Lincoln and now covers the Imps for BBC Radio. Here's his assessment of Lincoln's season so far.
A bit of a mixed bag, Owen, to be honest. Obviously started the season under Mark Kennedy and did reasonably well at the start. We've kind of found ourselves mid-table most of the season thus far. Mark kind of played football that was normally sitting, quite defensive, but we would counter-attack teams and had the ability to do that. But given some of the, how can I put this, some of the off-field issues, shall we say, that have surfaced, that they decided, the board and everybody at Lincoln decided to change the manager, and Michael Skubala's come in and done reasonably well. So, but he's inherited a side that still, I feel, is still playing under the Mark Kennedy kind of style of football. He hasn't had a chance to really stamp his authority on that, and that's maybe due to personnel. We have got injury crisis, and there are forwards missing, which have affected us badly.
It was a bit of a strange sacking. I remember it at the time, and the more you look into it, it's not often you see a club openly say this wasn't so much to do with results as it was other things. Can you go into those other things at all?
Obviously, I'm not party to what literally went on, but all I can say is that probably I think he lost the dressing room slightly. And I think there were murmurings that had happened. I don't think they were too enamoured with the style of play. And for me, this is just a personal opinion, he openly criticised one of the players that is an asset to the football club, Danny Mandreu, who's a forward player who does catch the eye. A little bit inconsistent for me, but again, that's my personal opinion. But he openly, publicly criticised him and his attitude. And I think that may have been the final straw, because the chances are that we could have maybe sold him. And then your manager comes out and criticises his attitude, which may have, shall we say, devalued him. And I think that may have well caused the possible replacing of Mark. So that's. I think there was a few off-field problems in terms of what had gone on behind the scenes. That's, again, my opinion. That's something that nobody's really come out and told me from the football club, and if they had, I probably wouldn't be able to say that anyway. So yeah, but that's my opinion.
And Michael Skubala is the new man, a bit of a left field choice. He's got a fascinating background in the game. How is he fitting in so far at Central Bank?
Yeah, I really like him. I think he, like you say, Owen, he's got a really fascinating background. I mean, he's probably done all kinds of areas of football in terms of professionally, college, university, futsal. His background is vast and comes with a lot of experience. I've had the privilege of being in interviews with him, getting to speak to him a little bit, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. I don't think he's quite got what he wants at the moment in terms of playing the players. I think we may see some transitional period coming up. I think he's struggled. Like I said, we've had a lot of injuries, especially in the forward areas. We're missing Ben House, we're missing Tyler Walker and Rico Hackett as well. And they were probably, dare I say, along with Danny Mandreu, probably in the starting 11. So, he's been unfortunate. He's picked up this job with a lack of real forward power. And that's evident in the games that I've watched thus far. We do struggle to score goals.
That's former Lincoln defender Mark Hone on tonight's visit. It's worth remembering that they took 4 points off Derby last season, including that draw here at Pride Park Stadium. Well, Derby can go third in the League One table tonight with a victory. Like everyone else, they've got 4 games coming up over Christmas and the chance to really make a move, as Paul Warne is well aware.
Yeah, well, back-to-back games come thick and fast. I think the league table can change quite quick, sometimes in your favour, sometimes not. But yeah, quick games, and you just need to pick up wins, try and keep the group healthy and happy and fit. Yeah, so I look forward to I like games coming thick and fast, so I think it suits us.
I know you really care about your players as people as well, and appreciate the...
As you should, yeah.
How difficult is it to make sure that they get the family time and also the work time, I suppose?
Yeah, the balance is difficult at times. They're not robots, they're, people. Fundamentally, if they're professional footballer at 27, they're still entitled to see their kids. It's as simple as that. But and you sort of try and run a ship on discipline and care, so sometimes they intertwine better than other times, but I base it on trust to a certain extent. So I've never had my teams in on Christmas Day, but I do expect the players to do something. They have to put a video message on, they have to show they've done something, so there's a bit of trust, but they don't have to film their whole run. But anyone who's doing a video message running down the road who turns round after 30 seconds and pretends they've done it is like, even if I brought them in here, they could go home and have 10 special brews anyway. So it's based on trust, and I expect a really good performance against a good team on Boxing Day. So I try and get the balance as well as I can. We always have a 2-day lead-in to all games, so try and keep that as best we can, try and keep patterns as well as we can, and obviously we monitor everything. So so they are footballers, but first and foremost they are humans.
I know supporters are looking at the schedule and looking at Oxford and Peterborough. Obviously, they are teams that are in the top 6 on the side. Do you do that as well? Do you look ahead?
I try not to, because football managers have the ability to catastrophise everything. So you're like, oh, they look tougher games, or So I don't get, and obviously you always only ever one phone call away from not coming in. So you don't need to get too stressed too far ahead. But I am aware that at the end of the month it becomes harder, so to speak, on paper. But I prefer them games, truth be told. I prefer games that teams are coming at us, so that suits us, I think. So I am aware that, we've got a much tougher end to the month, hence why our performance wasn't great at the weekend, obviously, but it was more disappointing to drop 2 points because, they're 2 massive points in games that you want to be picking up max.
Given what we were saying earlier about Christmas and the schedule and everything, are you happy to be playing on Thursday night rather than Saturday?
Yeah, it's random. Yeah, I am quite pleased. I mean, honestly, I'd probably prefer Friday because it gives us another day of changing things, what we need to change. But the Thursday to the Boxing Day is good. You get a little bit more recovery, and I'm not saying Lincoln are better than Wigan or vice versa, but Boxing Day games you want to be guns blazing. It also gives, like, we're all going to watch games on Saturday. I think me and Rich are going to Northampton games. So it gives us that opportunity as well. So it'll be great going into work Friday if we've won on Thursday, thinking, right, we can just look at the fixtures and watch the opposition. But it does give our lads extra rest. And over this period, it's a good thing.
Any update on the squad, injury-wise?
Injury-wise, no injuries from Saturday. I know Ryan's joining back in today. So he's back in the training group. Obviously another, like Callum, trained last couple of days, as has Tomo. So they're getting closer as well. So no dramas I'm aware of.
There he is, Derby boss Paul Warne. Well, Derby against Lincoln is the only game in League One tonight. Just one tomorrow as well before everyone else plays their fixture on Saturday. Barnsley against Stevenage will affect the playoff race. with leaders Portsmouth at home to Fleetwood and second place Peterborough away at Shrewsbury. Well, Portsmouth's lead stands at 7 points. Derby 11 behind the leaders with a game in hand. The Rams trail Posh by 4. The top 4 have all played more games than Derby have. At the other end, there's no doubt now that Burton are in a relegation scrap. Exeter, the other side down, they're only 3 points above the bottom 4. Reading fighting on despite their points deductions. So that's how things stand ahead of tonight's final football before Christmas here at Pride Park Stadium. Derby County hosting Lincoln City. It's a game you can watch on RamsTV worldwide, including in the UK. So get your Game Pass now at dcfc.co.uk. And just finally, Derby County are raising funds tonight for the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity. It's in memory of the late Laura Vickers, wife of Rams goalkeeper Josh. Laura lost her long battle against cancer in September. Tonight's game carries particular significance for the Vickers family. Laura and Josh met while he was a player at Sincil Bank. A number of her friends and family who are from the area will be here tonight. You can donate by scanning the QR code that's going to be on your screen. Please support if you can. Thank you.